What is going on, everybody? This is OG here, and I am coming at you with a deck profile. Now, I am coming over from Pokemon 24/7. Make sure to go check us out over there. I'll leave a link down in the description. But this is my new channel, so welcome to that. And this is just going to be more than Pokemon. It's going to be a little bit of magic, as you can see. We got, I don't know, we got anything and everything over here. You know, do some Pokemon, some magic. We got some Dragon Ball Z stuff going on here. Um, just, anything, food reviews. You know, I love my food. So yeah, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a new adventure for me as well. And I figure we're going to get things kicked off with a Magic the Gathering deck review. Now, this ain't, by all means, is not none of the newer cards or anything. I used to play a long, long time ago. I think some of the cards in this deck are from like 2010 and older. So, the reason why I'm doing a Magic deck review is because there is a new set coming out, and there are some Eldrazi's in it. And back in the day, I was all about those Eldrazi's, and I was showing a couple of people at my uh, league, at my card store, not my card store, but the card store that I go to and play Pokemon and everything. And I took this old Eldrazi deck there, and they were like, man, there's some pretty good cards in here. You should do a video on that. I was like, well, I am trying to start a new channel, so maybe I'll be able to put that on the new channel because Pokemon 24/7 with myself, OG, Shuey, and Mikey, we just do a lot of tabletop Pokemon and, deck reviews and pack battles and all that stuff. So this channel is just a little bit, for me, anything and everything. OG-Ethos. All right, OG is ordinary guy. That's all it is. Don't get too hyped up about that. Ethos is another word for embodiment. So everything that I put my time into and things that I like doing, I tend to excel and I do very well at it. I kind of embody the spirit of it. So without any further ado, let's get into this deck review. As you can see, I got those Eldrazi sleeves right there. Got the Emrakul looking pretty cool right there. I don't know, see you get there. So sorry about if any mispronunciations, or everybody knows from over in Pokemon 24/7. I'm not a good reader, mathematician, or anything like that. There's a little bit more to read in these Magic the Gathering. That not as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh. Sheesh. But still. So this is an Eldrazi deck. It's not Commander. We just do the 60 card deck, and then I didn't really play competitively. Really, it was just me and a few buddies. We get into star battles, King of the Hill, 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s. Just for fun. Got into Magic, really liked it. Cool game. But I am going to be making an Eldrazi Commander deck. So I got some cards in the mail on its way. I'm going to have a couple people at the local card shop, River City Hobbies, not a sponsor, going to be helping me out with that. So let's get into this deck review. As you can see, I got the Erebos playmat here from Magic. So we're already in the spirits. So to start out with this Eldrazi deck, we're going to start out with some little guys here. These Phantom Feeders. All right. These, it's an island swamp mana cost. All right. So 1/1, and it has Devoid, It just means that this card has no color. Death Touch and Ingest. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of his or her library. So with that card instead, I think you already know what this deck is going to be all about. And it has 3 and then a swamp and island. Tap that and then you can draw a card. Each opponent exile a top card or his or her library. So we got that. We got 3 of those phantom feeders. All right. So we got that. And you're going to see the higher we go in the creatures and everything, the more mana it costs. So there's going to be a lot of mana stuff going on in here too, because it's Eldrazi's, and you know Eldrazi's, those things like to consume mana to be casted. So the next one, we got 2 of these Brood Monitor right here. Eldrazi drone. Also has the void, has no color. And then when this enters the battlefield, put 3 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scions. I think that's how you say it. Creature tokens onto the battlefield, and they have sacrifice this creature, add 1 to your mana pool. So we get some blockers out there, we got some mana sacrifices out there. So that's really good for that. Next one, we have a 3 of the Oblivion Sower. Alright. Another Eldrazi, 6 mana cost. Alright, when you cast this creature, target opponent exile top 4 cards of his or her library. Then you may put any number of land cards that that player owns from exile into the battlefield under your control. So, again, more exile stuff, get that stuff out of the library, and then also get some mana acceleration for yourself if they exile cards like that, any land cards. So, got 3 of those, really cool. Those actually helped me a few times back in the day and getting some more mana to get some of these big boys out. So here's an 8 cost Eldrazi, and Elder Deep Fiend. Alright, has flash, so that's pretty cool. Flash is you can cast it whenever, my turn, your turn, whenever it's flash. And then it has Emerge for 5 and then 2 islands. You may cast this spell by sacrificing the creature and play the Emerge cost reduced by that creature's converted mana cost. And then when you cast Elder Deep Fiend, tap up to 4 target permanents. So if some guy is going to be attacking you or whatever, boom, 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 tap it, flash, bring it down, and then tap everything that he wants to attack you with. So that's a good safe card right there. I got 1 of those. And here we go. We have a 4, a swamp, and 4 colorless, a swamp, and a island. Alright. A Sire of Stagnation. Alright. Has the void. Has no color. And when a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player exiles the top 2 cards of his or her library, and then you draw 2 cards. Again, exiling cards off the library, which is kind of like an Eldrazi nil deck, right? So you're going to see with these little guys, 2 cards here, 1 card here, 4 cards here, it's going to be leading up to some of the big heavy hitters. You'll see what's up with that. And next we got a 1 of World Breaker. Alright, devoid, has no color. And when you cast World Breaker, exile artifact, target artifact, enchantment, or land. Has reach, and then 2 and 2 colorless mana. Sacrifice a land and return World Breaker from the graveyard to your hand. Alright, I don't play any colorless mana in here. I'm thinking about getting a hold of some, but that's pretty cool. Cast it, exile that land that gives you 2 of them, something like that. So he's pretty cool. And now we got some big boys here, alright? Now, to start out, we are going to go 12 cost. It That Betrays. Right here, these are some of my favorite Eldrazi's. Got 2 count. Annihilator 2. Annihilator is when this creature attacks, the defending player sacrifices 2 permanents, alright? And then whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card into the battlefield under your control. So, living up to its name, It That Betrays, right? And I got a good combo with that I'll tell you about in a quick few minutes here. So It That Betrays 11/11, so he's beefy. Every time you go to swing, your opponent has to sacrifice two permanents, and if they're non-token, they come onto your side. So It That Betrays, it's good. Now, so we go leading up to all these, little Exile 1, Exile 2, Sacrifice, Exile 4, and all that stuff. And then we got a one of Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. That's a real cool card right there. Ulamog, alright? So when you cast Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, exile 2 target permanents, alright? And then he is indestructible. And whenever Ulamog attacks, the defending player exile top 20 cards of his or her library. Just super, super booty. It's the lead up, 2 here, 4 here, 2 here, 1, exile cards. They're already low down on their deck. And then you bring out the big Ulamog and attack with them. That's another 20, so you're essentially milling them out. 10/10, pretty cool. Now, I told this card isn't legal anymore. I don't know if it was legal to begin with when I was playing back in 2009, 2010, 11. But it is the Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. Emrakul is, one of my favorite Eldrazi's just because it's like a big octopus. It's crazy. It's really cool. But this guy has, he can't be countered. All right, 15/15, 15 mana cost. And when you cast Emrakul, take an extra turn after this one. All right, flying, protection from colored spells, and Annihilator 6. So every time he swings, your opponent has to sacrifice 6 permanents. All right, and then when Emrakul is put in the graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library. So essentially getting all the cards back. That's not legal anymore. I don't know if it was, but I used it. It was fun. Crazy combos with that. Because that goes good with this other Emrakul that I got. Alright, we got this one. It's a Emrakul, the Promised End. This is like a newer card from this one. This one, I believe, what's the date on this one? 2010, Wizards of the Coast. 2010. This one was, it doesn't say a date. Well, this was newer than this one. But this one, when Emrakul, the Promised End, costs 1 mana cost less for each card type among the cards in your graveyard. Alright? And then when you cast Emrakul, it gains control of your opponent's turn during its next turn. And then after that turn, your opponent gets to take their turn. So, and then it's flying, trample, protection from instances. So I was like, I go, Emrakul, take another turn. Emrakul, take your turn. So crazy combos with that, with the nil, the taking the turns, It That Betrays. It's just some good combos there. Now with the It That Betrays, So that'll be it for the Eldrazi's. All right, these are all the Eldrazi's that I got that I have in this deck. And the combo that It That Betrays, I have starting with like the other spells and artifacts and enchantments and all that stuff. I start out with 2 All Is Dust. All right, each player sacrifices all colored permanents he or she controls. Right, right. So we have It That Betrays out there. All This Dust comes out. I did that combo in a star battle, and I just made everybody quit because, we're playing mono fire, mono dark, black and blue, some nil stuff over there. And I had this thing, and I was able to get It That Betrays out and be like, all is dust, there we go, all is dust. So everything you sacrifice that's a non token permanent comes over to me. And I just had this big, I couldn't even fit all the cards on my side of the field because we're in a star battle. It's like 5 players, right? So if you just want to make someone quit, bam, there you go, right? And to help us get these Eldrazi's out, if I don't have the mana, I got 3 Quicksilver Amulets. All right, it's 4 mana cost. It's an artifact. It's tap 4 and this, and then you may put a creature card from your hand to the battlefield. Simple, right? So, Quicksilver Amulet, let's get It That Betrays out real quick. Turn, 4 or 5. You don't have to have 12 mana out there. Just 4, tap, bam. Got that out right there. Cool card. That's helped me a lot with... I have more of these in other decks and everything, so Quicksilver Amulet are pretty cool. We got a couple... 3 instants here. A swamp, a forest, and an island. It's choose one. You can either destroy target non-colored creature, or destroy target mono-colored creature, excuse me. Or you can destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you can draw 2 cards and then discard a card. So we got those 3 for instances. A Spiritual Charm, that's what it's called. Got 3 of those. It's a quick... so like somebody has like a vampire deck or something like that, and try to swing you and has death touch. You don't want to lose anything. Hey, quick, destroy it, monocolored creature before it has able to attack. So we got 3 of those in there. It's pretty cool. We got 4 Cultivates. It's got some mana grab there. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal the cards, and then put 1 on the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand, and shuffle your library. Really cool mana grab. As you can see, we need mana to get those Eldrazi's out and do some work, right? So mana grabs are good. And keeping to the theme of exiling cards off the top of their opponent's library, we got 3 Mind Grinds. Who knows what Mind Grinds are? These things are crazy. I've made a lot of people mad with Mind Grinds, right? So it's X and then a swamp and a island, right? So each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals X lands. Then they put all those cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. X can't be 0. So we already have a lot of mana stuff going out here, right? So let's say I have 14 mana. I'll tap an island, a swamp, right? And then 12 other ones and lay down my grind. They got to reveal on the top of the library until they hit 12 land cards, right? And then everything gets discarded. It's a nil deck. You got some big Eldrazi's taking turns, taking your opponent's turns. You got It That Betrays bringing stuff over. You got exiling off the top cards. You got discarding cards. It's toxic. It's a real toxic deck. All right, it's a lot. I made people quit playing the game. My buddy His name was Robin. We were playing, and I was playing this deck, and no matter how many times he tried, he just couldn't get. I was either taking his sacrifices, or I was milling them, or taking extra turns, or taking his turn, and he said, man, whatever, I'm leaving, and he left. And I didn't see him for a while. And, I called him up one day. I said, "Hey, man, you got all your magic cards here." And he's like, "I don't care. Keep them. I'm not playing anymore." So I feel sorry. I feel bad about that. But, it is what it is. But Mind Grind, that's pretty cool. So we got one of Soul Ring. 1 mana cost. You tap this and add 2 to your mana pool. More mana. Get some mana acceleration out there. We got a 2 of Gilded Lotus. 5 mana cost. And then you tap and add 3 mana. Add 3 mana of 1 color to your mana pool. Right? So it's just another more mana. Just to get out what you need to get out. You know what I'm saying? And let's see here. We got a couple enchantments here. From Beyond, all right, enchantment. Devoid. This card has no color. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield, and it has sacrifice this creature, add 1 to your mana pool. And then you tap 1 in a forest, sacrifice From Beyond, and then search your library for an Eldrazi card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So that's a cool. Got 2 of those. So that's a cool card to have. Get some mana stuff out there. And then when you have enough, tap a couple, sacrifice this, go grab something that you need, that you want to do, want to mess with your opponent with. Put that in your hand and, just do away with it. Cool card right there. And we got 2 of a sorcery here. Eldritch Evolution. Sorcery. A 1 and then 2 forest mana right there. That's pretty cool. As an addition, cost to Eldritch Evolution, sacrifice a creature. Alright? Search your library for a creature card with the converted mana cost of X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield and shuffle your library. Exile Eldritch Evolution. Alright? So, let's say that I have If That Betrays out there, and I want to use Eldritch Evolution. So I'll play this, sacrifice this, and then I can search for a card in my library that has 12 plus 2, so a 14 mana cost. And then, as I put it in my hand, put it onto the battlefield. Yeah. So then I'll go get, bam, an Emrakul. Look at that. And I get to take another turn. Or no, this one is take your opponent's turn. So, nice little combo there. Sacrifice, or you can sacrifice a little guy, get a bigger guy, or a bigger guy to a bigger guy. This is a real cool way of, just another way of getting your Eldrazi out, because, all that mana that it costs. It's just another route to victory. All right. So that's it for the spells. And as you can see, I have a lot of mana in here because we got blue, green, black, and of course colorless. So we kind of need a combination. All right. So I have a Thornwood Falls. It comes in the battlefield tapped, and then when it enters the battlefield, I gain a life, and then the mana card you tap it, and you can either add a grass, sorry, not a grass, a forest or an island. Still thinking Pokemon, but you tap it, it's either a forest or island right there. Boom. And then I have Drowned Catacomb. Alright, enters the battlefield tap unless you control an island or swamp, and then adds an island or swamp. Alright, so a good combination of one or two. And then this one, Temple of Mystery, enters the battlefield tap, and when the Temple of Mystery enters the battlefield, scry one. That's look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library if you want. If you don't want to draw it next turn, just put it on the bottom. You can draw the next card. And it's a forest island. All right. And then I have Draw Island Refuge. It comes in tapped, and then when it enters, you gain a life, and it's a island and swamp. All right, good combinations. And then we have two of the woodland cemeteries. All right, comes in the battlefield tapped unless you own a swamp or a forest, and you tap it, and it can be a swamp or a forest. All right. And then I have four of these. Now I'm gonna butcher this name. Opulent Palace. Maybe, you know. So it comes in the battlefield tapped, and you tap it, and you can add either a swamp, an island, or a forest to your mana pool. So that's kind of a combination of all three that we're going in here. So I got four of those in there, all right? And then 4 islands, 4 swamps, 4 forests for the basic mana. So I don't know if any of these cards are legal anymore. Like I said, I'm going to take them to my local card shop, River City Hobbies. Again, not a sponsor. And we're going to, take this deck apart, add some cards, make a commander deck out of it, and hopefully I can get into one of their battle tournaments that they use with Commander. But that is my Eldrazi deck. I do have more decks. I think I have more decks than I have Pokemon decks, right? Because I have this one enchantment deck where you be swinging for like 24s, lifelink, vigilance, trample, death touch, hexproof, shroud, all this stuff on it, reach, lifelink, all this stuff. But then with all the enchantments on there, that it's all enchantments except for 4, the mana cards, and then 4 invisible stalkers, right? You just enchant them, because they're hexproof, so you just enchant them and all that stuff. And then I have enchantments in there where, like, if your opponent wants to swing with one creature, depending on how many enchantments that I have out in the thing, your opponent has to tap that many mana to swing with one creature, So I made a lot of people mad doing that. It's like, oh, I'm gonna swing with this guy and this guy. It's like, oh, okay, I have 12 enchantments out there, so if you want to swing with both of them, you gotta tap 24 mana, or if you want to swing with one, you gotta tap 12 mana. It's like, I only have 6 out there, 6 that I haven't tapped yet. It's like, well, then it looks like you're not attacking this turn. Right? So I got some booty stuff like that. I got nil decks. I have mono fire. I got an exile all white. It's like a human deck that it exiles everything. Puts caps on it, on everything. You can't do anything. I got zombies, vampires. I got all kinds of stuff. All right. But I wanted to do the Eldrazi deck because the Eldrazi's are my favorite, my favorite creatures in the Magic the Gathering lore. It's lore. Thinking fishing. But in the lore, because how the Eldrazi's are out, living between dimensions, the lost zone kind of thing, And then when they come into a dimension, they take forms of what their dimensions physics and dimensions are, So if they come into our dimension, they're going to be looking this way, and they go to a different universe and with a different dimensions, they'll be going there, and they'll be taking the form of their dimensions. You know what I'm saying? And what's cool is it's just like you're killing Eldrazi, you're just killing the flesh form of it. When the flesh form dies, it goes back to the realm it comes from, and it can just come back with another flesh form. It's just, so they couldn't kill the Eldrazi, so they had to make these uh, hedrons or something like that to trap them instead of kill them, because you kill them, they just keep coming back and just keep wreaking havoc. They had to trap them. So go check out the lore. It's a really cool story how they had to band together, do what they needed to do. So yeah, that is my Eldrazi deck. So I hope you like that. Let me know down in the comments if if any of these cards are even legal anymore, or if you have the cards, or what would you do different, or add or subtract cards or anything like that. Let me know. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and there will be more stuff coming. We're going to be doing playthroughs on video games. We'll be doing, like food reviews maybe. We got some stuff with the fam. We got, Pal World playthroughs. We got shiny huntings. We gotta do a meet and greet with my good buddy Trout, my 2-year-old puppy. Uh, just a whole lot of stuff in this new channel. So stay tuned for that. And I am gonna let you guys go. Don't want to take up all your time with this. So you guys have a nice night, and you guys stay hydrated. See y'all later.